Whole brain healing. What do we mean by whole brain healing? We mean accessing information from the left side of the brain, the logical, linear side of the brain, and from the right side of the brain, the more intuitive side of the brain that's accessing information differently. And so we want to access information from the left side of the brain from all of our training, all of our schooling, and all of our continuing education, all of our study on the internet, all of our study in books and training programs. We want to access that information, but we also want to have access to the body itself on the person that we're working with. And we can do that through the right side of the brain, where we can access that information through a muscle testing technique or through core and specific technique. It's the occipital drop, where we get a no stress response or a stress response, or essentially a yes or a no. And then we can sense things with that right side of the brain that we couldn't sense with the left side of the brain only. Think of it this way. You've heard the saying, the labs got better but the patient died, meaning that everything technically looked right but the patient died. So it wasn't just the left side and just the labs and just the logical, linear, that should work type of thinking, but it's access to life itself through the right side of the brain as we engage in the healing process. And so we want to trust both sides of the brain. And the way that we do that in our office, for example, in our nutrition toxicity consults, I'll be looking at a lab that I've ordered on somebody, and I'll see different markers on the thyroid that are off, and I might see their iron levels too high or too low, and I might see their inflammation levels up, and I might see something off in their complete blood count, which would indicate needing B12. But then I want to find out what is going to work for that person in that situation, but keeping the labs in mind. So then I'll test the reflex points on the body, and I'll figure out, for example, if the person needs B12, there's 3 or 4 forms of B12 that I could use. What is going to most agree with that person? And what supplement, if there's an infection going on, there might be 4 or 5 different ways to deal with that. Which way is going to be most agreeable with that person and not cause any additional stress to their system? And so that's where we use the muscle testing techniques to access that information, and that comes through the right side of the brain. That's what I mean by whole brain healing. Whole brain healing is so much more powerful than healing from half a brain. And it sounds like a joke, but that's kind of what we get when we're all stuck in the linear, logical, can't see anything, can't go with our gut mode. But it's just as dangerous to be in the right side of the brain only, intuitive side, because we could miss something that's on a lab, something that's really important, and not know it. And so there's certain things that we can only access with labs. There's certain things that we can only access on the body through muscle testing techniques, and that's why we use both, because we feel it gives us whole brain healing and the best access to information that will help you heal better and heal faster and be healthier. I'm Dr. Michael Winters, Winters Wellness, Chiropractic Redefined. Subscribe to us here on YouTube to get more information like this, and like us on Facebook.